Is it gonna like? Are we gonna get to see below triple digits? Is that?
No, definitely
Oh,
not.
no, definitely not. Fuck.
It's to be 102 today, then it's gonna creep back up to like high hundreds, low 110, and then back down to 100 again.
No. Howdy, Mr. Naughty Priest. Hello, Joe. Hello, Uninspired. How are you guys doing today? Hope you're doing well. I'm not doing so well because I just found out it's going to be 110 again this week. I can't hang, Joe. It's too much. I gotta go. I got a capital G, capital O, go. I checked my email. We didn't get anything back from that place yet.
Okay.
But like I said, it can take like 48 hours for a background check to come through or whatever. So, I just hope they don't find out that I used to be a bank robber. Okay, that was a previous life and a previous name, and I'm always worried they're gonna find it, you know. But other than that, I think I'm fine. Just got back from the dentist, and you're all clear. Good for you, bud. That's what I call good dental hygiene.
Your neck still fucky?
A little bit. It's better today than it was yesterday. I can actually turn my head this way, and I can turn my head that way. That's a bonus. Excuse me. Yeah. What's on this shirt? It's a Pink Floyd shirt. It's got a big giant pig, and it says Pink Floyd. Are you back in Madeira? No. I'm about 40 miles from Madeira, to the south of Madeira. Little town called Fresno. Garbage town. I went to that dispensary yesterday, and I went in there and I liked it, you know, and I was like, of course this place is dead. Like, of course this place doesn't have people coming to it because it's small and like humble and pretty much like just sells weed, and they're not trying to fucking sell you 90 different things. And it's like, of course this place isn't doing well.
I mean, it's in kind of a sketchy hood. You got to give it that.
I mean, it's on Maroa. It's not that bad. I mean, there are worse places in Fresno.
But it's surrounded by more sketch.
A little. It's okay. It's kind of sketch, but sketchy people want weed. I used to get raw dogged by the Cali heat, no AC, just fans. I mean, when I was a kid, that was pretty much how the summers went. Like, my mom was very, like, conservative with the money when it came to, like, cooling the house or heating the house. Like, when I would tell her, like, Mom, can we turn on the AC? It's fucking hot in here. She'd be like, go get in the pool. Go run outside and get in the hose. Go to your friend's house. You know, it's like,
scoop their AC.
Yep. And then eventually, like when the temperature started to get so hot that you absolutely couldn't fucking deal without it, my mom got this old fucking swamp cooler and installed it. And that would like do a really, really good job of making your house humid and hot. I loved that. Like, swamp coolers really didn't start working until night when you didn't really need them anyway. It was like, my mom's thing was she'd like wait till the sun went down, crank the swamp cooler up on max. It would chill out the house eventually. And then, you know, that's the cool for the next day, you know? Yeah, I like other prog rock. I like Genesis, yes, Jethro Tull. I'm trying to think of other names that would be on that list. I'm not super familiar with the genre of prog, but all three of those that you listed I love, so I must like prog rock then. The fuck is a swamp cooler? You could look it up, bro. It's a cooler that uses evaporating water to cool things. So you hook it up to a hose, sometimes, well, usually, and the hose wets this mat inside of there, and then a big giant fan pulls air through the mat, evaporating the water and making cool air come out the other end. I would sleep on the couch by our sliding glass door and throw water on the ground just outside to fall asleep. Yeah, I know. You changed your mind about voting for Biden? What do you think, buddy? Dude, it's raining. You guys hear it? That's wild. It's actually gonna rain. That's cool. It's like a little summer storm or something. I don't know what the fuck. Vote blue cheese, no matter who cheese. Vote bleu, no matter who. Paul, do you like the movie War Games? Yes. Who doesn't like that movie, man? That's a great movie. It's raining. I mean, it's like very lightly sprinkling and it's not going to last. But yeah, it's raining in July. I guess drizzling would be the word for it. Sprinkling. Purple rain, purple rain. That fucking soundtrack to War Games where they used like that 80s synth and shit, and that shit was all new back then, so they used it to make it feel all cyber. That's how you know. Oh, thank you, baby doll. You don't have to do that.
Oh, I saw you had a text from the guys.
Oh, from the guys. Oh, thank you. Whoop. Okay, tracking number, got that. You can go to Doctor Paul on the internet show. I'm gonna go switch from AT&T to Ozarks Go, which is a little fiber company. I'm not sure it makes sense to do a full show. We've got one tomorrow. I say we cover Trump's speech tonight and add extra onion nuggets. On to end the cycle. Okay, so I guess me and Scotty might just cover the Trump speech at the RNC tonight.
Okay. Oh, it's sprinkling, you see?
Yeah.
It's weird.
It says TJ's still sick. Like, it's pretty bad. He's going to the doctor to make sure it's not just like
COVID, like president.
Yeah. All right. Scotty says he's good with that. So if you can find out what time Trump's supposed to speak
Okay.
and schedule the show for like 30 minutes before and let me know what time that is, I'll text it to Scotty.
Okay.
I would appreciate that. Ooh, oof.
What?
DJ says he thinks it might be like food poisoning or salmonella.
Oof. That sucks.
Because he says like the symptoms don't feel like flu.
or COVID or
or COVID. He's just sick to his stomach, throwing up, can't keep water down a lot of the time, can't sleep because his stomach hurts. So he's going to the doctor today.
That sucks.
Oh, anyway, how many shots were fired, Paul, before the Secret Service returned fire? Well, here's the problem. The Secret Service were using so the guy shot at Trump with a 5.56 rifle, and the Secret Service were using 5.56 to shoot at him.
Yeah, they sniped him back.
Right. So I don't know which 5.56s were him. I know the first one was him, and the second one probably. But after that, I can't discern between his 5.56 reports and the 5.56 reports coming from the rooftop snipers that got him. So I don't know how many he shot. He had to shoot at least 3, right? Because he hit the president in the ear, he hit the one guy that died in the bleachers, and hit one other person, right? That's in critical condition still.
Okay. It's 9 Central. Is what the New York Times is saying.
9 Central?
Yeah.
Okay.
Who's in Milwaukee?
Okay, so that's gonna be then what,
So
7?
yeah, it'll be 7 here.
7 here, and then 9 for them.
Yeah. So
Okay.
tell Scotty it's at 9. We'll do it at
Okay.
8:30.
Okay. Sorry. I'm horrible at texting. It takes me forever. How long do you work/study on average? I work sometimes 13 hours a day, so it depends. I don't know. What are your thoughts on the president of the Teamsters speech at the RNC? Do you think he's a sellout for being there, or was it good to hear someone? Yeah. So this is another place where like leftists are completely off base, and some unionists too. It's fucking crazy. It's like union message is not a left-wing message. It's not a right-wing message. It's a populist message, and it needs to be heard by everybody. So the fact that he spoke to 50% of the country that otherwise wouldn't have listened to or heard his blue-collar message, his solidarity message, is nothing but a win if you're a labor advocate. If you're a partisan hack, he's a traitor. If you're a partisan hack who was hoping that the unions would throw all of their weight behind dusty old Joe and the shitty-ass Dems, then of course he's a traitor to you. But I have no dog in the race, right? I have no dog in the race when it comes to fucking Dems or Repubs. I don't give a fuck. So I think it was giga-based for him to go and talk to 50% of the country, conservative Republican people, and let them hear his message of blue-collar solidarity. I think that was giga-fucking-based. And I think anybody that's got a problem with a unionist talking to right-wingers needs to answer one question. How do you organize only leftist workspaces? They will fucking toil with that, but the answer is you don't. There's no such thing. People are all over the map. When you work together with people, some people want Trump, some people want Biden, some people have never voted. It's like diversity is built into politics, but you want to have a homogenous labor revolution? It's fucking retarded. It's silly. It's silly to be mad that half the country that normally doesn't listen to labor advocacy heard a nice fucking labor speech. It's silly as fuck to be mad about that, unless you're a partisan hack, unless you're one of these blue versus red football politics guys. Then at that point, because the guy went to the RNC and didn't fucking say a bunch of nice things about Joe Biden, then he's a traitor. I don't give a fuck what he said about Joe Biden. I don't give a fuck where he spoke. How's that? I'm glad that people that otherwise haven't heard a unionizing message heard it at the RNC. And I hope he goes back next year, or next cycle, and next cycle, and next cycle, and next cycle. I hope he becomes a permanent fixture at the RNC to have a labor advocate come and speak. Class consciousness is at an all-time ebb. All-time low. For a leftist, for any leftist to freak out because a fucking unionist went and talked to Republicans is unreal. Like the lack of class awareness and class consciousness is unreal to me. Unreal. Legitimately mind-boggling. Do you not work? How are you on here every day? This is my work. I know this is crazy to people, but I've been making my money exclusively podcasting for almost a decade now. It'll be a decade in about 6 months. So why am I always on here? Because I'm always working. Why am I always working? Because that's how you make money. People are crazy, bro. Like me, I'm crazy. I got the opportunity to be a podcaster for a living. And I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna keep right on doing it. How's it feel being your own boss? Pretty dank. Can you organize all this stuff? It was quite difficult to find your channel and videos. I don't care. I'm not trying to grow this channel. It is growing, but it's not the foremost thing. I don't monetize this channel. I don't take super chats on this channel. I want this channel just to be where I sit and talk to people. And so I do that. That's what I care about. I'm a big fan of money. I have a little and I'd like some more. Yeah. Hi, Paul. Just tuning in. Will Onion Nuggets be going live today by chance? It looks like the answer is yes. It's going to be me and Scotty. TJ is very sick. It's going to be me and Scotty, and we are going to cover Trump's speech at the RNC. And then I think we're going to do a full live show with or without TJ tomorrow. And we'll figure out what we'll do. You know, there may not be a makeup show for this. This might be it. This might be this week's Onion Nuggets. So, speaking of talking, dude, one of our clients got arrested yesterday at my branch. Rando tried an account takeover for $2 million. Whoa. That's crazy, dude. That's crazy. Crazy. Crazy for feeling so lonely. Yes, I'm crazy. Crazy for feeling so blue. Wondering if my life was something to hold to. Cops showed up, cuffed him, and they found drugs on him. So now grand theft and drug conviction. Ooh, that's a double whammy, bro. That's wild. So he just came into your branch and tried to take over somebody's account. Like he tried to like, what do they call it? Social engineer his way in. Why do you sing randomly? Because there's always a song in my head. That's the truth about it, man. I know it's annoying to some people, but like like every time I'm talking about something, my brain has this automatic function where it's flipping through songs that have pertinence to what I'm talking about or mention the same word that I'm talking about. Like my brain is fucked. My counselor used to say I have what's called an unquiet mind. My mind is having a running dialogue most of the time. I practice Zazen to interrupt that, but that's the only thing I do that interrupts it. Every other second of every other day, my brain is filled with a constant running narrative, multiple running narratives sometimes. And I have to navigate my way through a point. But yeah, singing, I've done that since I was a kid because I will just literally get a song in my head, and if I don't sing it, it's not coming out. Like it'll just stick in there. I would have Patsy Cline in my head for all day today if I hadn't sung Crazy earlier. You know, I'd be sitting here like in my head, crazy, crazy for feeling. And I'd be like, oh no. Even when you watch movies, no, well, it's kind of, yeah. I do get spun out on side narratives and shit, and fan theories, and thinking about what the actor was thinking at this moment. Yeah, it does happen. A sign of a really good movie is a movie that rips me out of my analysis. Like Dune 2 ripped me out of my analysis, and I was just like existing in that movie. You know, most movies don't get there. That monkey movie, Kingdom of Monkey or whatever it was. Kingdom of Monkey ripped me right out of that shit. Ripped me right out of my skepticism and my analysis brain and kept me in the moment.
The monkey moment.
The monkey moment, yes.
Half an hour before.
Yep, beautiful. I told Scotty that's when, 8:30. He said he'd be there 10 minutes before that, so we could talk. We're good. We're gold. So you can just make the, or if you already did, make the stream.
Yeah. So
And then you can just put a generic Trump picture up there, or just make an AI one real quick. It doesn't matter. Monkey. Have you watched Mr. In Between? Seen any good movies lately? Well, yeah, I just told you two, right? Monkey, Kingdom of Planet of Monkey was really good. Dune 2 was really good. We watched a couple of other movies that we really liked. Have you guys seen Molly's Game? I think it's a Netflix original, but it was a really good movie. It's a true story about an Olympian who had a horrible crash and broke her knee and couldn't compete anymore, and so she became like a poker magnate. Kingdom of the Planet of the World of Monkey. That's it. Thank you, Phoebes. I always get mixed up. Kingdom of the Planet of the World of Monkey was a good ass show. Okay? Do you write poetry and or play the whistle? No. I write poetry sometimes, but I don't play the whistle. That's pretty cool, dude. That's a combo. Oh, okay. So I did watch a movie that was just like obviously a blame, uh, blatant religious film. Have you guys seen Nefarious? I watched that movie the other night. I was like, I liked it at the beginning, but then as soon as I figured out that this is just a Christian movie, I was like, man, this is lame now. But I'm a sucker for like a dialogue heavy movie. And so this whole idea of it being this demon guy inhabiting a death row inmate having a conversation with the guy that's supposed to decide if he's sane or... I love that premise. But the movie was basically just a very thinly veiled argument for Christianity. I even think the guy that's in it is like a dude that shows up in these Christian movies all the time. Like the main hero character guy or whatever. Dude, stop with the Victorious, man. I haven't seen it. Have you seen? They're awful. Have you seen? Have you seen? Have you seen? If I didn't answer the first 3 times, the answer is just no, and I'm not one to waste time, bro. Ugh. What's it called? The one I'm talking about is called Nefarious. Finish Succession. Right? Right? Tell me that wasn't a AAA show, bro. Tell me I put you on a bad show. Come on. That was a fucking dope show, right? Love that show. Who was your favorite character, Pranav? I want to know. Oh, I loved the ending. I loved it. Who was your guy or girl in the show? Long Legs sucked. I mean, I've heard like 50-50s on that movie. I might have to go see it just because it's like... Well, no, I was just saying, like, which character was your, the one you identified most with? Or I guess you could say which one did you want to be CEO, but that kind of leaves Logan out of the conversation. It's like, who do you think was the best character actor in the show? Who did the best job in the show? Who was the most, scenery chewing character for you and your wife, if you know? Watch Jacob's Ladder. Oh, dude, Jacob's Ladder is crazy good. Tim Robbins is amazing in that movie. Did you play the game Return to Castle Wolf? Yes, I played Wolfenstein back in the day. 100%. I was rooting for Kendall, but after that awful BS he pulled at the end, fuck him. My main choice for the role would have been Shiv, but my actual favorite character was Roman. Yeah, dude. For sure, dude. Roman was great, bro. I don't think he was my favorite. Like, I locked in on Kendall, man. I was blown away by that performance. So Kendall and Logan were the guys. That dynamic there was the heart of the show to me. Him, when Logan, well, I don't want to ruin it, but when Logan's out of the picture, the show didn't become bad, but I lost one of my touchstones. So I had to latch on to Kendall for the rest of it. But yeah, dude, I loved all those. It was such a good show. It's like every character in that show was there for a reason. They were strategically picked and placed. I love a show that has that dedication to design completeness. Like, just absolutely everybody that's on the screen and has lines is supposed to be there. Oh, dude, you know who we didn't mention? Greg, bro. How are we not mentioning Greg? Greg was the only normal person on the show, bro. It was fantastic. That show was so good, bro. Can you say happy birthday? It's my B-day. Happy birthday, bud. How old do you have to be to think that video games are just for kids? I'm thinking 70 plus. I don't think I ever will, because like video games, I grew up at like the dawn of video gaming. And when I was a kid, it was considered almost exclusively to be something for kids. And now you got like grandpas playing Call of Duty and shit. It's over. Like, people that are treating gaming like it's an illegitimate art form or something because it's just for kids are not paying attention to who's playing video games. Like, I don't ever see myself like backing out of the gaming world for any reason. I've done like, it's been my main fucking hobby since I was like 6 years old. And I've done it like every year of my life consistently. It's like one of my favorite things to do. And I'm 44, and I'm not like, I've go through like times where I'm just like, I don't want to play games. Like, I've gone a couple months where it's like, I don't fire up any games because I'm just not in the mode. But I always come back to it, you know? Like, I always come back to it, check out some new game that came out. Did you play WoW? I did, yes. I was actually a beta tester for WoW. Then I did the open beta. Then I did a release. My friends and I waited in line to get it on release day so we could all start together. And yeah, so I played early WoW. I bailed on it pretty quick. And I've gone back to check it out after a couple of expansions, and it's just gotten worse every time. So I'm finally done with World of Warcraft. Played any of the Batman Arkham games? Yes, I played them all. Final Fantasy VII Remake or Rebirth? The remake. I really liked, well, I haven't played the second one yet. Is the second part of that out yet? I don't think it is. But I played Final Fantasy VII Intergrade or whatever the fuck. That's a really good game, okay? It was really good. The music was just so nostalgic. They did a good job of like drilling down into the game to make it longer, I think. Which I liked. I don't know. It's a good game. Bum 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 bum. Da 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 da. Watching you play Hades on Ideology a couple years ago convinced me to pick it up back in the day. Do you have interest in the sequel? Yeah, when it's finished. I ain't gonna be playing it in like early release and free beta testing it, but when it's finished. Do you prefer forgiving checkpoints? Yes, I do. I do also love a game that's hardcore and makes you like fight for progress, but I do think, maybe not forgiving checkpoints, but I think that like a checkpoint system is necessary. Because sometimes you're gonna die over and over again attempting something, and it can be really fucking shitty if you gotta go back an hour every time or half an hour every time, right? Like, I don't need every fucking action you take to be a checkpoint autosave thing, but it is nice to not have to lose 45 minutes of progress because you forgot to hit the save button or whatever, you know? Any games you would think make good movies? Dude, games and movies, they don't mix very well, right? They don't, like, can we name a video, like, I guess the Mario Brothers movie was a hit. But can we really think of like a video game, like let's think of an adult video game too, not a kid video game about a plumber bopping little bunnies on the head, okay? Let's think about a game that has a little bit of fucking portent to it. You know, something dark. I don't know that I would want to ruin any of the franchises I'm thinking of. Like The Witcher got a TV show. Some people say it's good. I haven't watched it. So it's half-ass. You know, but I think The Witcher, like getting a movie series of The Witcher going would be great. I think that could be an awesome, like, dark fantasy movie franchise that they could make 3 or 4 of them probably. The Hitman movie was ass trash. Come on, bud. This is the problem I have with it, is that they take a cool concept, But for some reason, Hollywood has I sometimes think they do it on purpose to delegitimize video games. They're like, oh, people want a movie of this video game? Let's make it suck. Give it to Uwe Boll. Give it to Uwe Boll. And let him make it. And then people will realize that video games suck and movies rule. That's what I think is going on with a lot of these video games. Because there's like no except. Well, 007 isn't an exception because 007 was a movie before it was a video game. Call of Duty, it would just be a generic war movie, war buddy movie, you know, like you start digging into some FromSoft stuff, now you're talking about something where they could make a really deep, beautiful movie, but they would have to do it right. Like, okay, close your eyes and imagine an Elden Ring film with Guillermo del Toro at the helm. Done deal, right? Guillermo del Toro did Pan's Labyrinth, right? That's probably his most well-known visual film, right? Guillermo del Toro at the helm of an Elden Ring film with, you know, George R.R. Martin adjacent, right? He's what do they call it? Consulting, right? So, you know, or David Eggers, get like a David Eggers, fucking Dark Souls or Demon Souls. Shut up, dog. Did you bark at me? I wasn't barking at you. I was coughing. Okay, perfect. I'll look good. Okay. No, I'm good with my cold coffee, thank you. Oh, yeah. That's better. Had to blow my nose. I take Allegra every day for my allergies, and I didn't take the pill yesterday for whatever reason. And if you don't take it every day, then it fucking, like the next day, you're gonna be all fucking fucked up again, so. I missed it yesterday, and I've learned my lesson, because now my nose is just fucking dribbling down the back of my throat. It's so gross. Eggers for sure after seeing the Nosferatu trailer. Yeah. Now, Robert Eggers or not Benicio del Toro. Guillermo del Toro would be my pick. Nope, Tomb Raider was a video game, then a movie. Are you sick? That cough was rough. No, it's, I have postnasal drip, so I have horrible, horrible allergies. You guys have probably heard me sniffling and shit. My nose wants to run this way and that way. And sometimes, like, it's just dribbling down the back of your throat, and sometimes it'll get into your airway, and you've got to cough it out. It's fucked. And that plus I'm smoking this infused blunt, and infused shit is good for getting you high. But Ari Aster, yeah. Ari Aster Bloodborne. I could see it. I could see it. You know what? Here's a franchise that I think if it landed in the right hands and got a really talented writer, Grand Theft Auto. Imagine a super awesome, high impact, spectacle action movie that takes place in an alternate universe in the GTA universe with, you know, all the different, you pick one of the cities that represents a real city, you know, Vice City or whatever the fuck. And it's just high impact, high octane, multiple characters like GTA 5 was, where you switch perspective even. It's just like you'll be with one character having a talk and you'll just go fly into the air and cross the city. Zoom in on another character. Dude, you could do a fucking dope ass movie of GTA with a good talented writer and director and a lot of money. Yeah, it could be like a recurring series. Which game would be best suited for Tarantino to adapt to film? Oh, dude, I have an answer for that, bro. Tarantino has expressed super like interest in making like a sci-fi property a couple of times. Dude, a fucking Tarantino Mass Effect, bro. Mass Effect by Quentin Tarantino. See, it's like hard because Tarantino loves to write his own movies and create his own universes. So having him make a movie that's based in another franchise is a little bit of a fucking stretch, right? But think about that. Tarantino Mass Effect. Yes, I played Tony Hawk 2 Pro Skater. I played it until my fucking thumbs bled. I played it until I was able to just, like, I literally would trick until I got bored in one combo. When I got that good at it, I stopped playing as much. But I learned how to fucking literally just, like, revert manual into, I would never fall. I would keep a trick going. I'd get like 6 million points, 20 million points in one trick, and I'd just get bored. Oh, the zone, bro. That flow state or whatever, I would just sit and play it for hours. John or Jane Shepard, por qué no dos? What about NB Shepard? Androgynous Shepherd. Huh? Now we're thinking out of the box. I don't know if I'll make it home tonight, but I know I can swim under the Tahitian moon. What was that? Character you think you'd portray in any universe? I think I'd be a fucking killer Baron Harkonnen, bro. I think I'd make a killer Baron Harkonnen. Killer. Femboy Shepherd. Yes, yes. Now you're cooking with gas. Yes, this is a Pink Floyd shirt. There you go. See, there's your logo. But I know I can swim under the Tahitian moon. Paul prefers the piano. Yeah, I mean, I think I would like to learn piano, but I was thinking about it last night, it would be so cool to be able to sit out here and just play acoustic guitar and sing songs sometimes. Maybe I just need to pick up acoustic guitar and learn it well enough to play, like, you know, folk music. Every time you touch my face or hold my hand to call my name, feels like this funny world divides. That Paul could play a great Shylock. I did Shylock as a monologue one time, and I won with it. I won with the best single male monologue at the Fresno City College competition in 1994. And yeah, it was for Shylock's "If You Prick Us, Do We Not Bleed" monologue. Have you ever seen Dark City? Yes. So have you heard that, like, there's controversy about who ripped off who, because Dark City and The Matrix have this kind of checkered past together? Have you heard of this? A lot of people think that The Matrix ripped off Dark City, because Dark City, like, the whole idea of it, if you really think about it, it's basically The Matrix, right? The idea that this guy is living in a world that he thinks is real, but it's actually simulated. It's presented differently, but the idea of it is actually the same, right? It's a guy wakes up, doesn't know who he is really, fucking starts to unravel this mystery of that the world that he's living in is not what it seems. Starts to find out that he has powers within that world because of that realization, that he can do the same thing that these evil people that can control the machine do, right? It's like all of that. And then that comes out, and then The Matrix comes out, right? And nobody remembers Dark City. And there's so much, I mean, to the point where there are a couple of scenes in The Matrix. You remember the scene in the first Matrix, right towards the beginning, when, oh God, Trinity is running from the cops and she's jumping from rooftop to rooftop? Right? That first movie. The set for that whole scene was literally just taken from Dark City. It's a Dark City set. The design of the world of the Matrix, like when they're in the Matrix, the way that New York is like dark, dingy, wet, steamy, right? So there's like there's controversy that the Wachowskis ripped off the script from Dark City and wrote their own script based on Dark City. Because if you really watch them back to back, they are pretty much the same film. You have to wake up and realize that you are the one in control of this, not the people running the simulation. You have to tap into your own power and your own memories to force your will upon this simulated world. You have to wake everybody up to the truth about the Dark City, about the Matrix. It's the same fucking movie. Cool World? Oh, don't start me with Cool World, bro. That movie is dog shit. I swear to God, dude, watch Dark City and then watch The Matrix. Make a night of it. Tell me I'm fucking wrong. You'll even find character analogs. You know, the guy in Dark City has Trinity. He's got a Morpheus. He's got an Agent Smith that follows him around with a bunch of other agents trying to kill him. He's got a slowly growing sense of his own power. And by the end of it, he's able to control the world better than they are. Dun, dun, dun. It's the fucking Matrix. Hey, Paul, when's your next weigh-in, and how much do you think you will have lost since last time? My next weigh-in's not for like 2.5 months. So my doctor was so happy with my numbers and everything stable and all that, that they said they did not need to see me for 3 months, which is new for me. I'm usually once a month. And so they said, you're good for 3 months. We're going to check your blood. Keep doing what you're doing. So I would imagine, right? So the last time it was about a month and a half between my doctor's appointments, and I went from 336 to 321 in a month and a half. So a little more than 10 pounds in a month, which is about what you want to be doing. You want to be losing about a pound a week, half a pound to a pound a week, once you've gotten all your water weight off, which I think I have now, or most of it anyway. Then you're losing about a pound a week. So I would estimate that, like, so my last weigh-in was 321. I would estimate that I would be close to below 300 at my next weigh-in if I keep it up. I think it would be pretty simple for me to drop 20 pounds. So maybe 301 my next weigh-in. I'm hoping. I'm doing really well, man. I'm not like overeating. I'm not skimping out on my exercise, you know. I'm not eating a bunch of like fast food all the time. I'm, you know, eating a good variety of like grains and healthy vegetables and stuff like that. And it's made me feel way better, and I've got more energy because of it. So it's like, you're not doing well, liar. What? What is that even about? 300 pounds would be insane progress. Yeah, it would be. Coming down from 367, you know, you're getting close to like, you've lost over 50 pounds at that point. I'm close to that now. I've lost close to 50 pounds, man. It's crazy. 50 pounds, man. Lift up a 50-pound sack of beans or something and think about just strapping that to your body. That's fucking nuts. And I've got another fucking at least 50 to lose. At least. Maybe 60 or 70 before I'm at a healthy weight, or a weight where I'm like, you know, like not, I could probably get off my blood pressure medicine once I get like down below 300. That's a goal of mine, is to get off. Like, there's one medication I'll have to be on for the rest of my life because I have a heart defect. Not a heart defect, but like a heart. My mom's side of the family has heart palpitations and rapid heartbeat, and I have both of those. My mom actually has a heart murmur. I don't have a murmur, not yet, at the very least, but I have to take a drug, a pretty high dose of a drug called metoprolol to keep my heart rate down. That will always be the case. It's exacerbated, though, by high blood pressure, and that, all of those numbers looked great the last time I went to the doctor. My cholesterol was fucking stabilizing. You know, all that shit they look for in your blood, all of the numbers were moving, trending in the right direction, right? So that's good. Somebody get rid of Brian Smith. He's a fucking weirdo, and he's having a day. When you sprinkle a cum, get him out. That's the second nonsense post from him that I've read. I want him nuked. I demand his head upon the parapets. I want Brian Smith's head on a spike. He's a fucking weirdo. Dude, no wrenches. No wrenches in the building today. Okay, all right, fair enough. I get it, I get it. I'll fucking do it, okay? You're hidden forever. Goodbye. My favorite Paul story is the one of you waiting in line for Diablo next to a brony. Yeah, that's a tough one, bro. You ever created a meme from scratch? Are you secretly a meme lord? Lord of the memes. I think the CPAP is the biggest progress you've done. Yeah, for sure. Well, it unlocked all the rest of this, right? Like, I wasn't in a position where my body was going to allow me to fucking lose weight. When I wasn't getting any sleep, it's like my body, the only way it could keep enough energy to keep me going was like eat a bunch of bad food, get a big fucking giant thing of McDonald's and eat high, calorically dense foods so that we can extract energy from it, because you're getting no energy when you sleep. You're just like strangling all night. So yeah, dude, I could have died easily during that time. I felt like I was dying. I'm not even gonna fucking lie to you guys. I don't mean to overblow it, but like 2.5 years ago, I felt like I was dying. I felt like, well, this is what happens when you're fat your whole life. This is what happens when you party and smoke and don't fucking take care of your body. You're dead. At fucking 45, you're dead. I just thought I was dead. And getting on the CPAP turned that around for me. I woke up the next morning and I didn't feel like I was dead. I felt like I had life in me again. I felt like I had like the ability to speak again and to think again and to walk and talk and move again. And like ever since then, healthy choices have been a lot easier to make. But really the first thing that happened for me was my eating. I confronted some fucking personal issues that I have with food with my wife in a way that I'd never talked to another person about. And once I got it out of my head and into the real world and got her perspective on it, it didn't make sense anymore. The whatever defensive mechanism that I had built up in order to deflect the problem had created a monster that was just made no sense. And once I told Amelia it made no sense to her. She's like, well, if you're grossed out to that extent by meat, why are we eating it? And when she asked that question, I didn't have an answer. I was like, because I assume that's, like it was just raised, you eat your meat, right? If you have meat at dinner, that's a blessing and you should eat it, right? And so my mom was very like, when I was a kid and I would saw into a chicken breast and it was chewy in there was a tendon in there or something, and I would want to say, I don't like this, Mom, she would say, you better fucking eat it, because there are starving kids in Africa. You know what I mean?
The whole clearing your plate thing, too.
Yeah.
Like, you finally told yourself it's okay to, like, if I'm actually full, I don't have to finish all
I've
this.
never been that way in my life. I've always been the guy that, like, you heap up your plate and you finish it. You eat everything off of that plate. That was my mom's rule. It was like, you have to eat your portion. And I understand where it came from. It wasn't an evil thing she was doing.
It was just like, I don't want to waste all this.
Well, it was not only that. She came from genuine food insecurity.
Yeah.
When she was a child, sometimes they didn't know when the next meat was going to be. You know what I mean? Subsistence farming, gardening and shit out back of their trailer, the whole nine. So for her, feeding the family and seeing her family ingest food was like comforting, because it meant that they were okay. It meant that they weren't hungry, they weren't starving, they weren't underfed, right? And so it came from a place of love, but it left me with a whole lot of crazy ideas about how food and I interact and what my job was. Like, I had this whole idea that it's like my duty to eat like this. It's my duty to suck it up and eat chicken because everybody else eats it.
And to clear the whole plate, even
and to eat every bite of it, even if you're full. Your stomach might be screaming, no more. You fucking find a burp and fit more in there. You max your stomach out every meal. Made no sense, right? But in my mind, it did. Because I had built up this defense mechanism against how grossed out I have been in my life. And that's really what it's about. And it's hard to explain that to people. I'm just grossed out by meat. I'm grossed out by handling body parts of an animal and eating it. And, and so that caused me to seek out like the worst kinds of meat, processed meat, hamburger meat, fucking sausages and hot dogs and like all this shit that's just like literally like the worst of the worst when it comes to meat, but it's so processed it's not like meat texturally. And that had led me down a road where I was just killing myself with what I was eating because my body was just craving fucking McDonald's, Chipotle, McDonald's, pizza, McDonald's. It's not like I don't eat those things now. I'll still have some fries. I'll still have a pizza. But I don't eat meat on any of it or with any of it, number one. And number two, when I do eat it, if I eat half of what I thought I was going to eat, I just push my plate away.
Yeah, like we'll get Taco Bell, and sometimes you're like, I don't want all this that I ordered.
Right. I'm still at the point where, like, if we order a Taco Bell and I get bean burritos, I'm probably going to get 3 bean burritos, but I'm probably only going to eat 1 or maybe 2. And so I end up like, hey, babe, you want another burrito? I can't eat this. Right? And in the past, I'd have been like, well, pretty full, but still got a burrito. Let's go. Nom, 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 nom. I'm the same way, and meat only becomes more unpleasant the longer you're vegetarian.
Well, you're not vegetarian.
I'm not vegetarian, but I'm pretty close to it. I mean,
yeah, I guess you really don't eat fish that much for having that exception carved out.
Right. I mean, I do. We eat shrimp. Yeah. We eat like shellfish a lot. Yeah. But that's really the only
that's like maybe once a week or
right.
something.
And I eat eggs, and I still do dairy products, so I'm not like vegetarian or vegan by any stripe, but you know, I just don't eat meat. I don't eat steak, and then that's the thing is, like, I've thought about trying vegetarianism before. It wasn't like a new idea, but I always thought, like, I can't live without it. Like, I can't be without because like everybody, when you go out, everybody gets a big meat. And when you go to somebody's house for a barbecue, all there is meat, you know? At least that's how my mind worked. That's not true. There's other shit. There's potato salad. There's fucking sides galore. You could have a whole thing, go to a barbecue, and never touch meat and be full as a hunting dog.
Yeah. You can bring your frozen patties and be like,
yeah, hey, let me throw one of these on, man. Yeah. I still love meat, but I'm eating a lot less. When we first started walking back in the 2010s, I was 220. At the meetup, I was 180. Dude, you look great at the meetup, Pranav. I'm not even gonna lie. I didn't even recognize you at first because you had lost so much fucking weight. You remember? Like, you were like, dude, it's Pranav. You had to tell me. I was used to you a little bit more rotund, man. So you look fucking great. Whatever you're doing right, man. Because, yeah, dude, I had to stop myself from goosing your ass. Oh, sorry, honey. I thought you were trying to get, like, a hair off of me. We really need like 8 lighters out here because I'm just such a fucking lighter thief. Yeah, it was weird. It was like, you look at a person's face when you meet them, right? But I was, you know, I look at the mouth the most. Like, I don't know if that's true of a lot of people, but when I'm looking at somebody, I'm very rarely like staring directly into their eyes. I'm kind of looking at their mouth. And I think that's true of a lot of people. And when I remember when Pranav was talking to me, I was like, who is this guy? Right at first, you know what I mean? Because I was like, he's talking to me like we had like a history or whatever. And then he was like, dude, I'm Pranav. And I was like, fuck. It's up for goosing. Nah, man. I don't want to get in trouble with Mindy. I don't want to get punched in the face by Mindy, bro. No, but I think you'll notice a huge difference in me at the next meetup if you're able to make it, or the next time you and I meet. Because it's pretty visually, like, I'm gotten to the point now where I can see it. It's typically pretty hard for me. Like, people will tell me, oh, you've lost a bunch of weight. And I'm like, no, I haven't. But I can feel it and see it now. I'm at the point where I've lost enough. I've lost about 50 pounds. Or close to it. I would estimate at this point. I started at 367. If I had to estimate my weight today, I was 321 last time I weighed. That was like 2 weeks ago. I probably lost another 3 or 4 pounds. I probably lost a full 50 pounds now. And I can feel it. I can see it. My clothes fit different. Easier for me to stand up and get down. That's wild to me. I'm doing like 30 squats a day, where when I first started doing my yoga and stretching and shit, I could only do 1 or 2 squats before my knees felt like they were going to give out, and my body was just like, nah. I'm doing 30 now. Doing my yoga pretty much 3 times a day, at least twice a day, but 3 times a day every day is what I aim for. You know, I want to, like, once we get moved and shit and we're out of this fucking oppressive heat, I'd like to walk more, like go out and do some fucking hiking, go down to the beach with Dinor and play some fetch and just like sit down there for a while. I think that'll be a good way to get me some exercise in. Yeah, I don't know. Did you ever get an elliptical machine? No, not yet. I really don't want to look into that or even think about that until I'm moved. Because right now, if I were to get an elliptical machine, number one, I'm a big guy.
You gotta get the big industrial.
So I can't get a small, cheap one. I'm a big dude, so I'm going to need the big one, like the one I used to use at the gym I used to hit. Because I like to be able to work my way up to not even having to hold the handles on an elliptical. You can just jog. That's what I would do. And so I want to do that. But that's going to be like a $1,500 elliptical, and it's going to weigh a ton. And so if I bought it now, it would just be another thing that has to be lugged across the country or across the state, at the very least. So once I get settled in my new area, that's when I'll start thinking about, like, do I want to get an elliptical? But really, like, the only thing that I think I'm going to buy when I get moved is a wetsuit, snorkel, and mask. So I'd like to just kind of paddle around out in the ocean on a calm day. And then maybe, if Amelia's into it, I thought it might be cool to get a kayak. Like a two-person kayak that we could, you get in front, I'm in back, we go together, and we can go out and kind of explore the lake and the coves and stuff, because kayaking is a big thing around there. So I haven't even asked Amelia about that, but it is just,
brought it up
oh, did we?
times.
Just being in my mind, you know, like it would be cool. Our car would definitely be easy to mount a rack on top of, and I know how to do it. Like, I'm not necessarily installing the rack, but like I know how to put the fucking boat up and down and secure it. So it'd be really easy for us to just strap a two-person kayak to the top of our car, take it down to the beach, you know, carry it down there together and launch it. They're really light. Be a part of the polar bear club, no wetsuit. I like having a wetsuit. I used to have one when I was younger, and it is so nice to be able to get out in the ocean and not feel like you're dying of hypothermia. It keeps your, you know, your head and your hands and feet still get cold, but your body stays pretty fucking warm inside of those. Yep, losing weight doesn't require a gym. I'm not using any gym things or any special things at all now, and I'm losing weight at a really healthy rate. My doctor said it's like perfect how much weight I'm losing. Like, I'm not like catastrophically dropping, and I'm not having weird plateaus. It's just a very steady, like 1 to 2 pounds a week is what it feels like it's been. And if I can keep it there, that's good, you know, and I'm not having to do anything. I'm not going to the gym. I'm not doing any kind of regiment other than my yoga and stretches and shit. So whatever.
Not counting calories.
Nope. Don't care about calories. Don't care. I just, you know, my rule is I eat healthy shit or reasonably healthy shit. I stop when I'm full. And if I snack on something, I snack on something that's reasonably good for you. That's it. Those are my rules. Like last night, I was hungry after dinner. We had a pretty, like, great meal, but not a super substantial one. We had cabbage soup for dinner. And, like, I was a little hungry a couple hours later, and I went and got a bowl of granola, poured some oat milk on it, and ate that. And that fucking stopped my stomach. That's a substantial handful of shit goes in your stomach. Now you're not thinking about food anymore, you know? Whereas in the past, I might have ordered a whole ass fucking meal from Taco Bell. I might have baked a whole pizza and ate 3/4 of it. I might have, you know, made a whole tray of, you know, fries or tater tots or whatever we got in there and like fucking just ate those up. You know what I mean? Like that was the type of stuff that I would have used, or just like go grab a bag of Flamin' Hot Cheetos, go grab a bag of Skittles, right? Those are the types of things I used to sate those like late night cravings with. And last night I ate a bowl of granola and called it a day. And it was really good too. You know what I mean? It actually hit the spot. It was just sweet enough that it was like, you know, hit like, kind of like that dessert vibe.
Yeah.
But also kind of felt like a cereal too. It was good. Got a favorite hiking spot around LA? Not around LA, but my favorite hiking spot is on the way to LA. It's on the one, it's called the Bob Jones Trail. It's right outside of Pismo Beach. A beautiful, beautiful hiking spot that leads all the way up to the town of Avila Beach. And it's a pretty long walk, but it's decent and it's easy, and there's a lot of wildlife and a lot of beauty, and it's a very cool, like cool temperature-wise walk as well, and very low-key and chill. So that's my favorite trail, is the Bob Jones Trail. You can go look it up. It's actually a really beautiful little trail. There's a Buddhist temple right near it as well, like right near the entrance, like the trailhead where you park. If you go down to the left, you're on the trailhead of Bob Jones. If you go up and to the right, you're at a big, beautiful Buddhist sanctuary there, which is beautiful. But yeah, that's my favorite trail in the world. Favorite Elvis song? I Can't Help Falling in Love with You. Yeah, no, just grab onto something healthy that fills you up but doesn't leave you feeling like shit. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Okay. How about I Can't Help Falling in Love with You / Suspicious Minds? How about that? We can't go on together with suspicious minds. Caught in a trap. I can't go back because I love you too much, baby. A little less conversation, a little more action. All this aggravation ain't satisfaction in me. A little bit long, a little bit short, a little bit hard, a little bit word. Baby, open up your heart and satisfy me. Oh, satisfy me. So good. Elvis for sure on the menu today. Favorite of something song. Caught in a trap. I can't go back because I love you too much, baby. We can't go on together with suspicious minds. Such a good song. I ate too much and my body puked it back up last night. My mind is smarter than me. Oh, all right, buddy. In the ghetto. Paul, have you heard that the ancient Egyptians said the music was the language of the gods? No, but if they did say that, cool. I don't believe that there's any gods, but yeah. Dude, ancient Egypt is wild. Have you guys ever learned, like, I'm kind of like fascinated by ancient Egypt. I don't know everything about ancient Egypt, but there's a number of facts about ancient Egypt, right, that are like mind-boggling, right? So many countries, right, in history would be considered super long if they had like 75 kings, right? Ancient Egypt had 75 dynasties of kings. Okay? And I'm trying to remember the name of the pharaoh, but way back in ancient Egypt, there was a pharaoh who hired a guy named Imhotep. Imhotep was a polymath, basically, from what we can tell, the writings about him. He was a musician. He was known as a magician. He was also an architect. So he was like a polymath. He was like a genius of his time. And the pharaoh hired Imhotep to create him this labyrinthine step pyramid to be buried in. And that one act, that Imhotep building that structure, and then that pharaoh being buried in it, right, really like changed the timbre and the tone of the Egyptian civilization forever. Because now the guy that replaced that pharaoh, I can't remember his name, the guy that replaced that pharaoh had to outdo that pharaoh, right? And so immediately he would say, start building me a pyramid that's better than this one. And what it led to was a lot of pharaohs died before their pyramids were built. And so there are tons of like abandoned, half-built pyramids all over Egypt, because after a pharaoh's died, who's going to pay to commission to finish his fucking tomb? Fuck him. There's a new pharaoh and a new tomb to build. And so Egypt is just literally dotted with these pharaohs that only, had a reign of 5 years or something. They commissioned this pyramid that was going to take 30 years to build, and now it's half built, and well, he's gone, so fuck it. And they abandon it. They take any limestone blocks and stuff and maybe use it on another pyramid, but the foundation just sits there and rots away because no other pharaoh wants to go like, I'll take over his vision. They want their own vision. And like that led all the way up to Khufu, right? Khufu's father built a big, beautiful step pyramid. I can't remember what Khufu's father was, but Khufu went absolutely apeshit and built the pyramids at Giza, right? And the mathematical precision, the fact that they face in the cardinal directions perfectly, they are celestially aligned with like the Big Dipper, the handle on the Big Dipper. They're celestially aligned to the changing of the seasons and shit. Like at the solstice, you can see the sun on top of the Great Pyramid of Giza. The sun sets right on the point. It's fucking insane, bro. And the whole history of those people became wrapped up in the labor market surrounding building these big giant monuments and tombs that were ordered by these pharaohs, who are all trying to one-up the pharaoh that came before them. And so this idea that it was a bunch of slaves building the pyramids is actually a total misconception. It's a biblical lie. There was a fucking robust labor market. Like people would work jobs, right? Seasonal jobs, farming, this, that, and the other, right? And then when those jobs dried up due to the season, they would contract out their labor working on a pyramid or working on a road or working on a big statue. And so like there was this really robust labor market that was really helped feed the people of Egypt, right? So it wasn't just like a completely silly pursuit to build these crazy monuments, a lot of which stand to this day. It created this artisan culture. It created this stonecutters culture and this labor culture where people's labor was valuable, right? The pharaoh couldn't build his dream unless he had a lot of people willing to work on it, a lot of artisans willing to work on it. And so there was a hot labor market, right, in ancient Egypt. But a lot of people don't realize that like all of the things that we know about ancient Egypt are wrapped up in this monument building, right? All of their crazy, like, not crazy, I don't mean crazy in a bad way, but just like insanely interesting philosophical and religious beliefs are wrapped up in these monuments and this idea of taking things with you to the afterlife. I wonder what the beer and bread. Well, dude, do you know that there's gang insignias that they found on the inside of Khufu's pyramid? This blew my fucking mind. There were work gangs. So like they were basically like dudes that worked the same shift. And they would, when they were working on the inner parts of the pyramid, they would carve graffiti for their little like work gang. So there was like one called the Friends of Khufu. And there was ones called, the Shadow Builders and all that shit, right? Like Human beings are no different than they were then, psychologically speaking. They're under the same general pressure, right? They express themselves in the same general way. It's so fucking crazy to me. We're talking like 4,000 years ago in some cases. Unreal. I started Googling all this as soon as the topic started, and I find it funny how I'm finding exactly what you're saying as you're saying it, right? Well, that's the thing, is like I know a little bit about this. I've been reading, and I've read books, and watched documentaries and documentaries and documentaries on, I'm not saying I'm like an Egyptologist or anything, but I know some stuff. It's fucking crazy to me, dude. It drives me nuts sometimes to think about. But the history of that whole, like, multiple dynasties of kings and the idea of ancient Egypt, right? So colorful, but so weird. Who's your favorite king? Henry VIII. I am Henry VIII, I am. Henry VIII, I am. I got married to the widow next door. She's been married 7 times before, and everyone was an Henry. She wouldn't take a Willie or a Sam. I'm a eighth old man, I'm Henry. Henry VIII, I am. Henry VIII, I am. Second verse, same as the first. I Henry. Sorry, I'm not gonna do that to you guys. Used to drive my parents crazy with that song. 99 bottles of beer on the ball, 99 bottles of beer. Take one down, pass it around. 98 bottles of beer on the wall, 98 bottles of beer on the wall, 98 bottles of beer. You take one down, pass it around. 97 bottles of beer on the wall, 97 bottles of beer on the wall, 97. You know what I mean? Do you believe that Egypt was around way longer than we believe? I don't necessarily believe that Egypt as a concept is around any longer than we believe, but I believe that what we call ancient Egyptians were necessarily the first civilization in the Levant like that? No, I don't believe so. No, I don't believe so. You think it's possible Trump wins and porn ends up banned? Yup. Better download your porn now. Hide your kids, hide your wife. Yeah, shout-outs Göbekli Tepe, dude. Shout-outs Turkey right now, because Turkey has like 3 or 4 sites that seem to go against the conventional wisdom of when people started building monuments. Göbekli Tepe is fucking insane, guys. If you know, I don't know everything about it, but it was like a temple site. And when they started digging, they found these insane stone monuments, carbon dated stuff from the site, finding it be like 2,000 years older than we thought monument building started. And it's a permanent settlement at a time we still believed human beings were hunter-gatherers. So this idea that buried by the sands of time, or maybe just eroded by time, has been much longer, much larger ancient human civilizations that we just don't know about. And a lot of maybe those ancient civilizations are the reason why there were these leaps in technology and culture with a lot of ancient civilizations, right? I think that's totally plausible and being proven right now in a lot of sites, right? Another place that they're finding human civilization used to be way denser and more complex than I thought is the jungle, right? So the Amazon jungle, as it's clear cut, they keep finding extensions of these cities that they thought ended miles away. They keep finding buildings buried under the jungle and taken over by the trees, right? They're hitting the parts of the jungle that are protected and still dense with LiDAR and bouncing back these pictures of these infinitely huge cities where they thought, like, you know, this city, El Dorado or whatever the fuck, right, was like a 10 square mile city with suburbs, and now they're finding out it was fucking huge, that there might have been 1 million people living in it, right? And so, like, this idea that we know everything we're gonna know about ancient civilization is retarded. And the idea that maybe we've been wrong about when people started to settle down and build things is starting to look a little retarded too. If there was a giant asteroid about to hit Earth and only the government knew about it, would they warn us about it or lie? They would lie about it until the last second. They would lie about it and obfuscate it until everybody that was rich was in their bunkers and or on the spaceship or whatever the fuck it is plan that they've got for that. And then about a fucking 10 hours before it hits, when they're all in space, safely fucking at a distance, watching it go down, they'll tell us. And they'll probably fucking take glee at watching us tear ourselves apart. They'll probably be tuned into it from their bunkers or their spaceship or their fucking moon base or whatever it is, right? Laughing their fucking asses off at the fucking reality TV show that is humanity in its last hours. There's 1 million telescopes pointed at the sky, but like go look at like the amount of the sky that we are monitoring at any given moment is something like 2% of the sky. It's unbelievable. You're talking about a vastness that you can't understand. The more you zoom in, the less of a picture you're getting. You're getting a micro picture of the actual atmosphere of the Earth and a macro picture of what lies beyond, right? So as you're zoomed in, you're looking at a tiny, tiny, tiny fraction of the sky. So even with the millions of telescopes pointed up at the sky, there's plausible, dude, it's plausible that even the fucking elites don't know until a couple of days out. Like, we're not looking at every aspect of the sky every second of the day. It was amazing that the founding fathers insisted on keeping people armed so as not for the government to overreach their authority. How did they know? Well, I mean, if you know American history, right, and you buy the line, which I do to a certain extent, right, the entirety of the American continent exists as it exists today because of people taking up arms against a tyrannical foreign government that was seeking to impose its law on them from halfway across the globe. And so it makes total sense to me that those men would build into the constitutional framework a basis for people to do that again, right? So that makes absolute sense to me, knowing where their heads were at. But I also think that the Second Amendment is very misread a lot of the times by pro-Second Amendment people. There's a huge clause at the beginning of it that all pro-Second Amendment, well, not all, a lot of, because I'm pro-Second Amendment, but a lot of pro-Second Amendment people want to ignore the beginning of the sentence, the premise of the sentence, a well-regulated militia being essential to the whatever welfare of a people, the rights of a people to bear arms shall not be infringed. That well-regulated militia part is crazy because I don't think there's anything well-regulated about a yokel selling another yokel a rifle, right? And so they never want to talk about the well-regulated. I'm all fucking 100% pro-Second Amendment. I believe if you're a person that has lived their life by the law, you're not out preying on people, you don't have a rap sheet of robbery and shit, assault and battery, you're not violent, right? You're able to pass a competency test and show that you know how to handle a fucking weapon properly. I believe you should be able to own pretty much whatever you want. Stopping probably at a big repeating fucking like mounted 50 cal. I don't think anybody needs that. Anything up to that though, you want to own it, buy it, pass the background check, demonstrate that you can fucking keep it licensed, keep it clean, provide reasonable demonstration that you're aware of how to lock it up and you know the consequences of not keeping it locked up. Have your fucking gun. No. Well-regulated did not mean that you had... Well-regulated meant what it meant in the Army. An army is a well-regulated military force. Army is all about rules and regulations. That is what they meant. That is what they meant. These were soldiers. These were men that fought in the Revolutionary War. They had a well-regulated national army, and they wanted a well-regulated militia to take the place of that national army in peacetime. Don't fucking talk to me. You're not a constitutional scholar. You don't know what you think you know. Well-regulated is a military term. It means you don't have every local yokel shooting off guns and shooting people with them. Yeah! It means you have people with responsibility owning guns. That's what well-regulated means. That means a militia that can show up and not shoot each other because they're retarded. I went to school for this. No, you didn't. You're not an internet doctor. You're not a constitutional scholar. So go fuck yourself. You don't know what you're talking about. Well-regulated didn't mean keep a pouch of ammo. That's fucking retarded. That's well-prepared. It doesn't say a well-prepared militia, and that word existed back then. Well-prepared militia would mean make sure you take an extra pair of socks in your bundle. That's not what they meant, dumb fuck. So if you went to school for this, you got taught retarded shit. Did you go to a conservative think tank school or something? Where they taught you apologetics? This type of shit just fucking gets under my skin, bro. Whew. Whew. This type of like willful stupidity and ignorance and fucking like bad faith. Well-regulated means bring your rations with you. That's fucking stupid. It means exactly what it means when they talked about the Continental Army. Well-regulated means you've got a militia that knows how to handle its weapons, that knows how to clean a weapon, that knows how to safely handle it so they're not shooting each other at camp. Okay? That's what they meant. Why? Because you're wrong? Too lazy to educate yourself. Two is two O's. Too lazy would be T-O-O, lazy. But tell me again how I need to educate myself, dude that went to school for this. What do you do, Blaze? What do you do for a living, homeboy? You got the eye of Sauron now. You're too stupid. So now I'm on you. So what do you do for a living? You said you went to school for this. What do you do for a living, bud? What do you do for a living, bud? What do you do for a living? Intellectual laziness, like not knowing that two has two O's? That type of intellectual laziness, like typing like a fucking high school kid? Are you a high school kid? I'm just going to ask you straight out because you argue like a high school kid. Are you a high school child who checked the box and said, yes, I'm over the age of 18? It's a yes or no question, and if you don't answer it right now, honestly, I'm going to ban you anyway. Give it to me. Are you a child that checked the box that said, yes, I'm over the age of 18 so you could get in here and waste my fucking time with sophistry? You've had plenty of time. So the answer is yes. Ban his fucking ass. Eat dirt, bitch. Ban him. Get him the fuck out. Couldn't tell him, I do this for a living. What do you do? Not a fucking thing comes out of his mouth. Bye. See what I mean, man? Total waste of my time, because at the beginning of that, I assumed I was speaking to an adult. Then I find out that I'm speaking to a fucking child who checked the box. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable, bro. Skibbity, wibbity, flibbity toilet. Waste of my fucking time. I went to school for this. I'm a college professor, my dude. What? Oh, yeah, and I'm a doctor. I'm a constitutional fucking laureate, okay? What now? Oh, you went to Princeton? Well, I went to fucking Harvard, okay, bitch? Now, what now? Paul, what would you do if you were adrift at sea with no provision and fading supply hope? Die? I don't know. Like, what you mean? I would die. Oh my God, more. Oh, Andrew. Dude, me and Andrew are that close to dropping another Beauregard track, man. I'm pretty sure I sent him the last of my vocals. I think he's gonna cut me a rough, and then I'm gonna do some ad-libbing. So it might be a while, but dude, we are fucking on rough cut, dude. We're on rough cut. Woo! Rough cut, rough cut, rough cut. I always get so I love working with Andrew, bro. I've always loved working with Andrew. I think he's the most talented fucking producer I've ever met in person, and I really believe in his career, and I believe in his talent, and it's fucking like dope as fuck to work with him, bro. No, we cannot hear a sample. No, you get no samples, bro. You're just gonna have to wait. You're gonna have to salivate. There's no such thing as a sample, dude. The song doesn't even exist yet, bro. The track is laid down, the beat exists, the vocals exist, but right now, Andrew is in the fucking lab and he's cooking. That's like looking at flour, eggs, sugar, and milk and going like, oh, there's a cake. Nah, bro. Andrew has gathered the flour, eggs, sugar, milk, okay? And he's baking. And you're not ready. And it's going to be followed up because I didn't even tell him yet, but I started preliminary writing on the next beat he sent me. And it's going to be fire. Paul, what do you think is odd about us Europeans? Odd? I gotta be honest with you, this whole like, we are so different because we come from different place. It's like, yes and no. I feel like you're not very much different in a lot of ways from Americans. I think your sensibility is very Western. You know what I mean? There are definitely some stuff you guys are into. One of the things that fascinates me about Europeans is how fucking crazy your football fans are, bro. So I've started rooting for Uruguay, La Celeste. They didn't win the Copa. Boo. But yeah, I've started rooting for La Celeste and watching some fucking sports and shit, watching some soccer, as we call it in America. And you guys as fans are crazy, bro. Like the way you'll go like rough each other up and throw shit at each other and fucking get in big old fights over losing or winning or whatever. It's pretty fucking great. Anyway, you guys give me a sec. I'm gonna go do my stretches. I'll be back in like 3 or 4 minutes. Okay. Okay, much better. Much better. Pick this phone up because it's probably going to overheat. Whew. Added 5 squats. No, I'm doing 15 because that felt really good. So I did 15 squats. I'm going to start doing 15 instead of 10 now. I wanted to push myself a little bit because I'm starting to feel like 10's pretty easy. It feels good. Feels really nice. Gets the blood flowing down, you know, to like my feet, my legs. Gets like all of like my muscle fibers kind of like woken up. I don't know how to put it, right? But it's like really important for me to do that. Get some sun on that perineum. Sun your balls, man. Sun your butthole. I do still like 40K. I just don't think I think I've got the money or the time to get into it as a hobby. So I think we'll be passing on 40K for a while. But I still like the lore. I still like watching like battle reports of 40K and stuff. I like it now that I understand the rules, you know, so I can watch those sorts of things and not have to be like, oh, what's going on? Why does he get another turn? Yeah, dude, I'm not trying to get my taint burned, bro. You guys are crazy putting sun on your butthole. I mean, you can do what you want, but yeah, they call that place where the sun don't shine for a reason. You know what I mean? I haven't seen Civil War yet. I just watched the original Star Wars trilogy with Amelia. She had only seen the first one when she was a kid. So, as an adult, the only Star Wars that she'd seen was the first of the sequels, the new one, with fucking Daisy, what's her name in it? Oh my god, bro. So now she has seen all of the Star Wars movies, the originals, the good ones, and I think she showed a little bit of interest in possibly watching the prequels, which I'm not too stoked about, but I'm also not too, like, they're okay. There's some Star Wars shit in them, especially in comparison to the new ones. And then I don't think I'll be able to face the gauntlet of the new ones again, but she might want to watch those. I mean, we got Disney Plus to watch the old ones. We may as well watch them all. You've yet to see any Star Wars? Damn. I don't know. If she comes back out, I'll ask her. We talked about the movies as they went on. Like, the way she and I watch movies is like, we'll pause and sometimes just like take a break from the movie until the next day. Like, we watch it like episodic sometimes so that we can talk about things, talk about what we think about it. Then we'll go back and watch more. So that's how we watched all 3 of them pretty much in, like, you know, 1 hour chunks or 45-minute chunks. And yeah, we talked a lot about the movies, but I don't think she expressed a favorite. I need to pick her brain now that she's seen the originals of like favorite this, favorite moment, favorite that, favorite character. I hope she comes back out and chills here in a minute because I want to pick her brain more. That's not typically like the type of conversation she and I have, but I am interested as a Star Wars nerd to see what she thinks of the originals, what she liked, what she didn't like. Took me 25 years to get around to the Harry Potter movies. Whoa. Yeah, no, I saw those. I haven't seen any of the cartoons or anything. Oscars and Emmys are boring. Is celebrity becoming less important? It's just changed. It's become more ubiquitous, right? Like, Celebrity doesn't mean what it used to. Like back in my day, if you were a celebrity, you were fucking like on TV. You were at the very least a radio star, but you were a movie star, you were a TV star, you were a big time national politician or an international fucking, music act or something like that, right? You were a celebrity because of that. Now there are people that are celebrities because they're dorks that make videos. It's like way more accessible, and the idea of celebrity has been diluted to the point where like we'll never see that super concentrated level of celebrity like Michael Jackson or John Lennon ever again, right? Because it just can't exist in such a wide pool. Celebrity is like an accessible thing now, and it used to be completely inaccessible. Do you think or care enough about the ongoing video game debate? Most are about them needing to be more mature. I don't, like, look, dude, there's immature games. There's games that I feel like, for me, are kind of like kiddie games. I would put all the Zeldas into this, by the way. I know that's a big fucking no-no to a lot of people, but look, if you have fun with Zelda, that's great, but they're child games. Like, I had to put the blue ball in the blue hole in the wall. I had to put the red ball in the red hole in the floor. And then the door went doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. You know what I mean? It's not like meant to be a hard-ass fucking game, bro. You can just kind of face roll the combat. I beat up the big guy by hitting A bunch. Pew, 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 pew. You know what I mean? It's not meant to be like a fucking big adult thing. Right? But I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that existing. I'm fine with people liking that kind of lighthearted shit. I'm also fine with there being like more mature games, darker themes, etc. Is that a good or a bad thing, though? Well, it becomes a bad thing when adults are trying to justify it as like, Zelda's actually a legit adult game. It's like, no, it isn't, bro. No, it isn't. That's a game designed so that a 6-year-old can play it, and you're going to tell me it's an adult game. It's like Pokemon, right? Well, actually, Pokemon has a lot of themes that would be described as like more adult, or at least young adult. And it's like, well, no. And number two, no. It's just like, that's the hill that some people die on, right? But those games are not hard. Those games are face roll games that a kid can play because they have to be. And that doesn't interest me past a point. In regards to the end of mega celebrities, it's not the game topics. Oh yeah. No worries, man. Topics did switch fast. That's my bad. But I'm just kind of scatterbrained at the moment, I think. Your nerd voice is the same as your Vosh voice. Are there any Republicans in California, and do they bear it proudly or keep it on the low? There's tons of Republicans here. I live in a Republican stronghold in California. You can look this up. The Central Valley, it's called the San Joaquin Valley of California, huge valley that's nestled between the Sierra Nevada mountain range and the coastal range in California. Used to be a big giant lake called Lake Tulare that we drained and created a desert, and then we irrigated that desert and created farmland. But yeah, if you look at that Central Valley really right in the middle of California, deep red area, like solid Republican, solid constant Republican shit.
Have you seen this?
What happened? Oh, they're wearing the fucking ear patch. Do they have didos on too? Are they wearing diapers as well?
I think they moved on from that.
They're wearing the ear patch, like what, in solidarity with Trump or something? Because he has an ear patch? But yeah, no, there's tons and tons of conservatives in California. It's just like California is dominated by its big cities. It's big coastal cities. So San Francisco, Los Angeles, San Diego, these tend to be more liberal areas, and they tend to be the strongholds that carry California as a deep blue state. But I could see a future where California flips purple. It's not going to be in the next 10 years, but I could see a future if politics keep going the way that they go, where you know the Democrats just keep eating humiliating defeat after humiliating defeat, and Republicans keep looking like the good guys because of that.
Or just if there's a shift in population in California.
Or another party switch. I almost feel like there might be a party switch coming in the next 20, 30 years. Where it's like now the Republicans are going to be the party of like personal responsibility and liberty and freedom and, you know, libertarian ideas of like live and let live and like.
Like you think maybe they'll fracture because of how
Yes.
like Christian nationalists.
I think I think the DNC is on its last legs. I mean, this like Biden is not just, it's not the death knell of this candidacy or this cycle. It's the death knell of this, because who's going to trust them after this? They're gaslighting, and when Biden drops the strap in a historic loss, who's going to trust them after that to know what's right?
You see, they're trying to do a virtual roll call to get him nominated for the actual convention.
It's just like we're building up to this point where it's just like liberals have retreated into this like, well, we're not for anything, we're just against Trump. We're against Trumpism. We're against conservatism. We're pushing back against this, but we're not for anything. That's the death of a party. That's what happened in the last party switch. Like, we did a whole show on it. It's like the parties were like, there was a blowout happening over and over and over and over and over again. Because the party of Lincoln. Right? And slowly but surely, that party became more and more corrupt, corporate, and the Democrats rose up as an opposition to that. Well, the tables have turned now. Now people are rising up in opposition to the idea of the DNC shoveling more fucking lukewarm shit politicians on the world. I think that Donald Trump is a lukewarm shit politician, but that's not what half this country believes. He at the very least knows how to run a fucking campaign. He at the very least can string together a sentence that even if it is simplistic, it makes sense. He at the very least knows how to take a photo op. He's not lost, shuffling.
You can go off of a teleprompter reasonably.
Did you guys see Biden, like, after he did a press conference about the Trump thing? And when he left, dude, I shit you not, I'm gonna push this back so y'all can see. This is how he left, hold up. Okay? He left like this.
You think him actually being sick is real, or do you think he just needs some nappy time in Delaware for a while?
I think they're hoping that some downtime will help him.
Yeah.
I don't think it's out of the wildly crazy that he got COVID, running around breathing and out, you know, meeting people, shaking their hands.
Yeah.
It's like they should be taking way more precautions, but he knows putting a face mask on loses him more points.
Yeah, because no one wants to go back to that.
Because the liberals have lost the plot so much that they allowed face masks to be like a sign of somebody who's retarded. Like they weren't able to push back on the misinformation to the point now where if an old geriatric ass politician wants to protect himself in public, he can't wear a face mask. Because if he does, he loses, because MAGA chuds think face masks are equivalent of a diaper on your face. They don't mind a diaper on the ass though. They're fine with diaper Dawn. It's fucking crazy, bro. Paul, as USA becomes more diverse, how can the Republican Party survive as a white identity and white grievance party? Well, that was kind of my point, blind programmers. I don't think it can. I think we're seeing maybe what might be the front edge of a party switch when it comes to politics, because look, the Democrats have latched onto the exact wrong things. And I am not trying to dog out LGBTQIA movement or the expansion in fucking rights or trans rights or anything. But the fact that the Dems latched onto that and only that and hoped that it was going to surf them through because they waved a fucking rainbow flag and shit, that is exactly what they do to the black community. Okay, so the Democrats are treating the gay community the LGBTQIA community the same way they've treated the black community for 40 years. Lip service. Oh, we're for you, man. I carry hot sauce in my purse, honey child. Right? And then when it comes time to do something for black people, we couldn't get it done. Parliamentarian obstructionism, even though they had both people forget this. Do you remember Joe Biden had both houses of Congress for the first 2 years of his presidency? Are we forgetting this? And it was nothing but a litany of excuses. The parliamentarian. Oh, we just can't convince fucking Joe Manchin. We just can't convince Kirsten Sinema, man. They're holding it all up, bro. It's just weak shit. He had both houses of Congress for the first 2 years of his presidency, and he got fuck all done. Fuck all. Fuck and all. So that's why the Democratic Party is dying. The Republican Party is dying as well, but it's dying boisterously. It's dying in a way that makes it look way better than the fucking Dems. Like, from a purely outsider perspective, taking the politics out of it, if I'm just being a fucking optics-brained normie guy, the Republicans are winning hands down right now. Democrats look unhinged, they're gaslighting, they're fighting amongst each other, they're cross-messaging, and Republicans are all unified behind the president and having a great fucking Republican convention right now. It's over. So they're incapable of meeting the needs of the people, as they've shown us through their last fucking few cycles in power. Obama had a huge mandate when he got elected. Huge. Did fuck all with it. Squandered it. Then we squandered a whole fucking electoral cycle on Hillary Clinton, who didn't even get a chance to disappoint us. She disappointed us before she got in power, as a lot of us knew she would. So it's just fucking unbelievable that we're here, but I think that we're on the cusp of a huge sea change in American politics, where Republicans are seen as like the blue-collar party, the fucking poor party, the party of the working person. Even if they're not doing anything, the perception is going to shift, because the Democrats have become fractured and unhinged to the point where they're just unlikable. Like, Nancy Pelosi is repellent before she even opens her mouth, and she's one of the fucking big voices in that party. That woman is repellent before she even opens her hole. She's ancient and weird looking because she's half plastic. She's like an odd, decrepit alien Barbie doll walking around. And then she opens her mouth and everything that comes out is just shrill nonsense. She's awful.
You think it's gonna require like the oldest guard just getting too old and dying?
They're just gonna have to croak. But even then, it's gonna be so easy for the medium guard or the fucking like middle-aged guard to step right into their shoes and do the same shit. So, yeah, I think we're going to see some wild shit in politics in the next 10, 15 years. I think there could be another fucking party flip, where the Democrats just get more and more cloistered off and detached from reality and become more and more fucking hardcore on their positions because of it. And it just alienates people. And now the populist party is the Republicans again. Awesome. Great. Let's drop that strap. But I think we're on the, like, dude, historic low approval ratings for this president going into a re-election bid. People are still coping. Historic low approval ratings of the Democratic Congress and House of Representatives. Historic low faith in the DNC. Like, this is a group, a political entity that's dying. It's on life support. It's dying of COVID, not Joe Biden. This party is dying in front of our eyes, and the Republican Party, as chaotic as it has been, is unifying, rallying behind a singular purpose, while the Democrats can't even decide whether or not an old man can think long enough to be president. We're fucked. Real quick before you go in, baby.
Yeah.
Which was your favorite Star Wars movie of the originals? Which one do you think was the best? We didn't, somebody asked me because I told them we watched it all, and I was like, I didn't even ask her because I'm not a big favorites guy, but it is interesting. Favorite movie? One of them stood out, you know it did. Got A New Hope, got Empire Strikes Back, where Luke meets Yoda, finds out that Darth is his father, and then you got Return of the Jedi, where Luke becomes a Jedi and defeats Darth Vader.
I think I'm gonna lean towards your favorite.
Return?
Yeah.
Booyah shaka! Boo, 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 boo. Brrr, brrr, brrr. That's the correct answer. Return of the Jedi. Okay, before you go in, I don't want you to swelter. Favorite character in the series? Number one, over all of them. Who was the best? Who did you like seeing the most? Who do you think did the best job portraying their role?
Probably Han.
Han. All right. See, I told you my wife is based as fuck.
I love you, babe.
I love you, baby.
Sure you don't need nothing?
No, I'm gonna come in here in a minute because I'm about to melt. How are the Dems getting more unhinged? Uh-oh. Did it happen?
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to go through the garage dirty.
Oh no. All right. Well, I'm just gonna end this because we can all go together. Have a good one, y'all. Question: how did the Dems become more unhinged? Look at the gaslighting that's going on from the DNC about Joe Biden. Look at this, like, don't believe your lying eyes shit. That's unhinged as fuck. A lot of people on the left have become unhinged after the assassination attempt and have said crazy shit that they would have excoriated the right for saying. It's crazy, right? That's how they become unhinged. Bye.